Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So 90% of the cargo is moved by shipping, but it's also responsible for 3% of the global emission. So our vision is to completely eliminate that by various solutions. Now, our story is also intertwined with the story of Aditya, which is India's first solar ferry. So about 9 years back, the Kerala State Water Transport Department, which at the time operated 100 diesel ferries, was trying to solve a big problem they faced. Now, typically you will imagine that it is air or water pollution. This is normal in on-diesel boats, but this was not their issue. And neither was noise, vibration, and smell of fuel, which if you have taken a ride in a diesel boat, that is obvious. In India, if you read through newspapers, every month there is an accident, a boat accident in some state, which is resulted by overcrowding or overloading. So a very pertinent issue, but not the main focus of the department. Their issue was the operating expense. So here you can see that from a subsidized public transport, where a 3-kilometer ride, you pay about 6 rupees. It was 4 rupees earlier, now it's 6 rupees. The revenue from an operation, daily operation is about 6,000 rupees. But the diesel cost itself is about 10,000. So this is where the whole problem lies. In public transport, the capital expenditure can be arranged by many ways. But if you cannot manage your operating expense, you're finished. So what the transport department realized is, can solar electric be the way? But then it's not a simple problem that you take an existing boat, put panels on top, put an electric motor. It doesn't work like that. You have to do a few things right. First thing, you need to reduce the weight of the boat significantly. From a traditional boat, which is 35 ton, made of either steel or wood, it has to be made to about 17 ton by using composites, aluminum, and a lot of structure design optimization. Secondly, you have to change the underwater shape itself, so that the power required to move the boat is reduced from about 45 kilowatt to 15. Only then you can talk solar electric. Typically, such design optimization is done for large shipbuilding projects, but for these kind of boats, it is made by usually local boat builders. It's a very fragmented industry, not like an EV industry. So it's all local players who are making, which means there is no design play. This is one of the gap we saw when we entered the space, and half of the benefit was by building or bringing better design. The other half, as you know in the EV itself, is the cost of mechanical power. If you take a diesel engine, where the diesel is about 100 rupees or 95 rupees, the cost of power you get is almost 30 to 35 rupees. But when you take the same mechanical power from a motor, which is taking grid, or electricity, which comes at around 7 rupees, plus the battery charge discharge, you're looking at 10 rupees per kilowatt hour of the mechanical power. So what we are doing slightly differently is by introducing almost 70% of the energy from sun. So which means that 10 rupee now become 3 rupees. So 35 rupees versus 3 rupees. And that's what the rest of the Opex story is. Now, of course, in the batteries and motors are very important in boats. More important or more, higher standards than EVs, primarily because the time to escape from a boat is much, much higher than a bus. So the standards are much more higher. Hence, typically it is only LFP or LTO which is used, plus a lot of additional standards. So we also do a lot of IoT and analytics so that we get a better and better boat. So the newer boats are at least 20% more efficient than the first boat. What we do differently, which we can do on the water, which you can't do on the road, is we can make the boat bigger. So what we do is we try to make boat which typically is a 75 passenger is size of 4 buses, 15 by 5 meter. So we try to make it about 21 by 7, so you can have a larger solar panel. Why you're doing that is to reduce the battery size, so that the whole economics work. I was reiterating in the morning that there is zero policy support for electric boats in India, and that is the reason why we are forced to do completely on a pure economic basis, because you know in India, nobody will buy a boat or a car if the economics is not in place. The other aspect or the result of all these is Aditya, which is now in operation for 6 years. In this period, it has already transported 2 million passengers over a distance of, thank you, 135,000 kilometers without a single drop of fuel. It has saved about 2 lakh liters of diesel and almost 2 crore rupees for the government of Kerala. And this is the reason why they are building another 12 more Adityas, which we are building. So what happened to the Opex? So straight away that 10,000 rupees has now become under 200 rupees. So that's what the whole success of the public transport solar electric ferry is all about. For a private operator, TCO is more important. It is not only the Opex. So you have to see the life cycle cost. So a typical diesel ferry is about 2.25 crore as opposed to solar, which is 3 crore. So there's a 75 lakh difference. But the fuel bill on a typical diesel ferry, which consumes about 35,000 liters of diesel every year, is about 35 lakhs. So which means, typically if you see simple break-even, it's 3 years. But if you see there is a financing availability, so if you can finance a 75 lakh, if you can do that with a total cost of ownership is less than half. Now financing, why I stress is, again, the boat building industry is handicapped by a government regulation called SURFACE Act, where the banks cannot finance a boat by keeping the boat as a primary collateral. Auto industry, you can. You go to auto shop, you pay 10% down payment or even 5%, you get the whole car financed. The car itself is a collateral. This doesn't happen in boat because of this archaic act. This has to go. It's not just to do with solar electric boat, it's to do with the whole boating industry itself. So that's a financing gap in the industry. So there are 6 such ferries in operation, mostly in Kerala. And we start with public transport, which is very counterintuitive. You start with the largest possible thing, but then the whole economics will only work in public transport. But today, it's even in leisure it works. So there are another 15 or 16, in fact, 16 ferries under construction, including the first order, export order for Maldives, which we are building now. So this is ferry boats. Leisure boats was not economical 9 years back when we started, but today they are because of reduced battery prices and solar panel pricing. And we have 7 boats under operation again in Kerala, Karnataka also, and in Punjab. So there are again another 10 more leisure boats under construction, 10 to 30 passenger, UP, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. These are all new states which will have all these boats coming up. When we go to higher speed in water, unlike roads, the power requirement significantly increases. So if you just increase the speed or by just double the speed, the power double or increases by 10 times. So this is an issue in water transport. So in certain applications, especially in high speed, you have to change the technology or the chemistry from an LFP to LTO. Although LTO is more expensive per kilowatt hour, but instead of charging once in a day, you charge 10 times so that the battery size is smaller. So for certain applications which are faster, you may want to go to LTO to make the whole thing work economically better. And this is the one which you are building for the defense, and this will come in Mumbai next year. Every location where there is a passenger movement, there is a potential for vehicle movement, especially in location where the distance on water is shorter than the road. For example, in Mumbai, if you say Gateway to Alibag, it's a very short distance on water, very long distance on road. So Ro-Ro ferries work very well in such areas. So today, we are building the world's first solar electric Ro-Ro. There is electric Ro-Ros in Norway, but the solar electric is the first one. We are building 2 of them for the government of Kerala. By end of next year, it should be operational. Fishing is another interesting segment. There are 2.5 lakh fishing boats in India, and these are all small marginal fishing people I'm saying. They all own these 10-meter boats. Today, their economics is very bad because of the high fuel price, because government gives subsidy for them, but it's for a small quantity per month. So to solve this problem, along with Shell Foundation, we are trying to bring a solution, which we have put out 2 of this version. There are 6 boats under construction, and this will be handed over. But where the economics we still struggle here is, today we are building the boat at around 25 lakhs. Unless the boat comes at price of 10 lakh, the whole economics will not work. So there is a viability gap issue here. And Shell Foundation have promised to support in some way, but we are looking for other people to support that financing issue here. Now, Srav incidentally won the Gustav II Award this year, which is 2 weeks back, for the world's best electric workboat. This is like the Gussies or Oscars for electric boating, you can call. Again, I'm just reiterating once again, I don't know if there are any policy people here, but there exists nothing, no support for electric boats. Hopefully it should change. It's not just fame-like support. There are many other ways which we have outlined multiple times over the last 6 years. It has not yielded results, but I don't know if there is someone here who can influence and can make it happen. This is the future. Finally, what we started with carrying passengers is passengers are 30% of the weight of the boat. Then we shifted to ro-ros, which carry 120% of the weight of the boat. When you talk of commercial ships, you're talking of 3 to 5 times the weight of the vessel itself. And this is a much more complex problem. And we look at it as a problem we can solve maybe 3 to 5 years down the line. And solar and battery has a very small role to play. It will be mostly wind, maybe 20% of the energy, and rest from some clean liquid fuels like hydrogen. And hydrogen is what we are betting on. And apparently the government of India is also doing a lot of push for hydrogen. So we feel that could be an area. But again, this year we are trying to raise some funding to develop a lot of technologies in this area so that we can have a ship, electric ship, operating in India maybe 5 years down the line. So all these solutions, we are working in marine transport so that we can all have a cleaner air, quieter oceans. Thank you.